So screening the potential company, always make sure they're willing to provide you with a certificate of insurance. This is a super easy thing to do. If anybody tries to dance around this, run away. Run away screaming. Background checks. Ask if they do background checks on their employees. Other thing that's an interesting component to this, ask what their subcontractor to W-2 employee mixture is. Because just because they did background checks on their employees, it's very common for a lot of contractors that only have, say, 1 or 2 employees that are team leaders or whatever, and the rest of it is subcontractors. So just because they background check their employees does not mean that they background check their subcontractors, and often they haven't. So just keep that in mind. And remember, be sure to ask what days and times the company typically works. That way you know exactly when to expect them. That's one of the main complaints we hear about a lot of people that are in this business. You know, they're like, oh, well, he just showed up at my house at some point, and then I didn't hear from him, and he went dark, didn't show up for 3 days, and they showed up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and worked for an hour and left, and you just never know. So always make sure you ask the salesman, whoever presents you the quote, what days and times the company typically works. For example, at Biehl Brothers, we typically work 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 7 to 3 or something like that. So you know exactly when our guys are going to show up every single day.
An estimate is just an estimate until a contract is signed. So just like you want the contract signed and everything, all the details written out, the estimate is part of that contract. And one of the things that gets overlooked a lot in our business is we deal exclusively with commodity items. Our prices on our materials fluctuate quite a bit. I'll give you a great recent example. I think everybody's heard about these tariffs that are coming in. Well, we import all kinds of metals from China. We get a lot of plywood material from China. That has a big effect on the price of cabinetry. We get a lot of forestry products from Canada. We're in a world economy. We get tile and things like that from all over the world, Italy and Spain and all that. So when we talk about tariffs or we talk about fuel prices, all of those things have an indexing effect on the materials that we purchase to install in your homes.
Always ask if a building permit is required for your project. And this varies. So how many people have been to the DMV? More people. There we go, it's warm. Okay. How many people have had a negative experience at the DMV? Okay, yeah.
There's a lot of head shaking.
Tell us about it, sir. No, I'm just kidding. So the building permit office is very similar to the BMV. It really depends on who's sitting in the chair and what municipality it's in. To give you an example, I remember we went to pull a permit in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and the building inspector was also like the fire marshal, was also like the town sheriff, and was also like the mayor. And it was very, very simple. And typically when you get a permit, you have to provide a lot of drawings and a lot of information. So we show up and we're like, hey, we're gonna do a bathroom, what do we need to give you? He's like, so you're doing a bathroom? Yeah. He's like, that's it? We're like, yeah. He's like, well, what's the address? And we give him the address. Okay, I'll see you in a couple weeks. That was it. Most of the time it's a very long and involved process, and it was really, really funny and comical. He was a great guy. But just always ask. The main reason for that too is there's a third level of supervision over your project, because the building department doesn't care about me, they don't know me, all they care about is making sure that the project is executed safely and per code. So we always recommend an additional layer of oversight whenever you can get it.
Okay, one of the other tests is when you have somebody in your home and you're through the contract and everything, and it's their first day and they're starting, you can tell a lot about people from how they work and how they keep the cleanliness in your house, and do they work organized. You know, definitely look for things to be organized, look for things to be, you know, at least broom swept and kind of kept in a certain area at the end of every day, you know, because there are safety issues. And one of the things that we tell people all the time is that if you have somebody who is working a little bit too hard because they're unorganized, that has an effect on how long your project will take. And when you take out a kitchen or something like that for a family and you're eating hungry man meals out of the microwave, that gets old really quick. So a true professional will show up and be organized and keep your home in an organized fashion as well, as first and foremost a respect for you and your family and your home, and secondly, just because it's the professional thing to do and it's the right way to get things done.
And just remember, it's easy to feel when you are in a situation where you don't know about what's really going on. just remember, he who pays the piper calls the tune. So if something looks out of whack to you, call the person who sold you the job and say, hey, look, this is looking out of whack to me. Don't be afraid. Just remember, you're the one who's empowered. You're the one who's got the checkbook. So just always remember that through everything we tell you. And that's when we give you, especially some of these, you might be thinking to yourself, well, what difference does it make if I've already hired this person? It makes all the difference, because at any point you can get rid of them. And hopefully you don't have to do that, but just remember that you can. The crews should be on time, should be punctual. This is extremely important. If they're not showing up when they're supposed to be and they're not letting you know what's going on, call the person who sold you the project and let them know, because they'll get up on those people and you won't have to do it.